Hello and welcome to Grand Park in Westfield. It's the site for the 2025 edition of Indianapolis Colts training camp football. It's oh so close. Makes me want to run through a brick wall. It's awesome. But Eli, this Colts team, a lot of questions heading into this campaign.
Yes, it's been an organization that has fallen just short in each of the last 4 seasons, haven't made the postseason since 2020. And there's been a threshold to where you're playing just well enough and you're falling just short that you keep a lot of things intact. But I think we've felt throughout this offseason after what happened last year is now's the time to really flip the script and break down that door that they've been waiting to get into for so long.
No doubt about it. The postseason, that's what it's all about. It's a tough AFC conference. We know this, right? And you have to have your quarterback right, and that's going to be the big talker this training camp. Anthony Richardson versus Daniel Jones. Chris Ballard talked about Anthony's good to go. He's going to have a few restrictions as far as volume goes, so maybe it'll take a day or 2 or 3 to get him exactly where you want to be as far as snaps taken. Daniel Jones impressed during OTAs and minicamp. He had a rough time in New York, but he's a talented player. Chris Ballard said as much. What are you expecting when it comes to these two? Because Anthony Richardson, the potential, Daniel Jones, maybe not living up to it in New York, but a fresh start here in Indy.
It's going to be something that's going to drag on for quite some time. I'm sure, of course, Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard, as well as the fan base, want to get an answer sooner rather than later because it's difficult to have a 2-quarterback system going deep into the preseason, and the next thing you know, the season is here, and you're not fully sure what you want to do. So, yes, as you mentioned, one of many topics that's going to happen here, the defense had a terrible season last year.
Yes, they did.
You bring in Lou as the defensive coordinator, try to get things going, and you felt that through the players today too when they were speaking. It's a breath of fresh air. They accountability of what Lou brings in here to really kind of just point those things out, which is what they've lacked reportedly in the last couple of years, is that accountability and be able to get things done when you need to.
And changing the narrative, right?
Yep,
DeForest Buckner said it was the worst defensive performance since he's been here a year ago. And that's one of your vocal leaders on this team and a guy you really respect in DeForest Buckner. You brought in Travarius Ward, you brought in Cameron Bynum, solidifying that secondary that's had a lot of question marks. EJ Speed, though, hits the door, goes to Houston, I should say. So a lot to figure out, but a renewed sense of optimism on that side of the ball. With Lou Anarumo, all the defensive players we spoke with said he's no BS.
Yeah, he's
all right, and we like
straight
that.
to the point.
Yeah, we like that. So that's obviously a point of conversation. But we got a chance to hear from a slew of Indianapolis Colts and GM Chris Ballard ahead of the beginning of 2025 training camp.
Good to be back at Grand Park, as always. This place does a tremendous job. And I always want to make sure we include that and thank everybody that's involved, all the volunteers, the people that help from the city and around the city. I think it's great for our fans. I don't think we can lose that as a team or as a league. Is like most important thing we have, is our fans and why we do what we do. And so I think these opportunities in training camp to be able to give them an up-close, personal look into our team, I think is valuable. There's something different about human interaction, face-to-face human interaction. That is, it drives me nuts because, I understand the value of social media, but there's no real human connection. And I truly believe that's what is one of the great aspects of training camp for our fans. And it's a great place for us to get ready to play. And get ready for the season. We always are, flooded with calls from other teams that want to come scrimmage us because of this setup. It's so good, and they enjoy coming. We got Green Bay coming in here this year, so that'll be a good, time for our fans to see not only our team but also Green Bay. I haven't talked about Jim, Mr. Irsay, and our loss, and I think it's appropriate, especially our relationship. I care deeply about him, and it's going to be a big loss, not only for the Indianapolis Colts, but for the National Football League. He was unique. He cared about the game. He cared about the game of football. And he'd always tell me, like, Chris, we take care of the game, and the game will take care of everything else. And he was right. He was charismatic. He was very quirky and unique, as you all know. He loved the city of Indianapolis. He loved this city. He's very prideful in this city. He's prideful in the horseshoe. And, it's a big loss, not only for the organization, but I'm telling you, for the league. his experience, I don't think this gets stated enough. The history of the league, like he cared about it. He cared about the history of the league. And, he's one of the originators, with when the CBA came into place, he was one of I can't remember what, Peter Rucco, who's, retired a couple years ago, but is a brilliant man and was close with Jim and was part of the, CBA process whenever they wrote the original CBA. And I know Bill Polian was a part of that. And I think there was 9 or 10 people total. But I think sometimes forget, you see where the NFL is today, all right, as a league and how big it is. But you forget the owners back in the, mid 70s and early 80s, man. It was tough sledding, man. They had to struggle. And I think it gave him a great appreciation for, where we are now and the growth, but also the history. He never wanted to lose that. He never wanted to lose the history of the league. I think that's why his relationship with players was so special. Like, he cared about them all, and people have no idea. Like, you have no idea how giving a man he was. I mean, look, we're all flawed. We all have our demons. But, man, he had as giving a soul as anybody I'd ever been around. So, I feel very fortunate to have worked, for him, and he hired me, and always grateful. I mean, extremely grateful. And then, going forward, I think he passed on to his daughters that same sense of community, to cherish the history of the game, and to carry that forward. And I think all three of them are going to be outstanding. I do. I've been around them all a bunch. Carly and Kaylin a little bit more because they're more, they're around more, but they're going to be outstanding. They're going to be outstanding owners. So now onto our team. All right, going forward, I'm still getting all the medical. As of right now, nobody on PUP. All right, so Anthony is good to go. He's been throwing for about 3 weeks now. He's really upped his volume. First couple weeks will probably limit some volume, but no real restrictions other than volume restrictions, and that's something we'll keep. We have a 4-day stretch where we're practicing 4 days in a row. So this first week, you could see in day 2 or 3 a little bit of volume. We reduce his volume, but other than that, good to go. We feel good about where he's at. He's in great shape, and he's ready to hit it and move forward. I know y'all probably talked to Zaire. He's in a good place. He's not quite there yet. We will not put him on PUP because we think he's going to be ready pretty quickly. I've watched him work out, and I think he'll be ready sooner than later. Jalen, JC will be ready. I've watched him work out a bunch. He's cleared and ready to go. And same thing with Samson. Samson is cleared and ready to go. There'll be a little volume with Samson working him back in, but he's cleared and ready to hit it. All right, questions? I think when Shane and the staff and I and our staff feels like, there's a sure starter, then we'll move forward to that. Timeline, I can't put one on it.
What's the plan? Shane can speak to this, but what's the plan in terms of how you get a good look at both of them and how you split the reps?
I think everything I think it starts now. Look, OTAs is, that's important, but there's not any pads on, all right? So, now that we're getting the pads and the work, I've always viewed OTAs as a developmental aspect of our game, which we're losing a little bit. But that's a teaching and learning and developmental time. This is when we crank up. So everything will be evaluated, from practices to any kind of scrimmages we do, preseason games. All of that will be evaluated.
How much of a game element do you view as critical with those two?
I think it's important that they get into games, and we'll play them. So I do think that's important.
Chris, is the conversation going forward with Anthony just related to volume? I know he had the aggravation. They said it was, I think Shane said he was overuse or stress. Is that a conversation you all have about how to monitor him going forward just in general, considering his shoulder?
Yeah, and some things he's doing strength-wise, and the volume of throws each and every week, which, we track, and, sometimes it gets a little out of whack. So we just got to make sure we're on top of it.
You feel like Anthony's got to make up anything for what he missed in the spring?
He didn't miss enough. What did he miss? 3 or 4 days? It wasn't like it was the whole off season. And I'm proud of Anthony. I mean, his mindset, he didn't. It's tough when you get hurt. Like, anytime you get hurt, like, you feel like you're letting somebody down. Like a player, and it's different in the OTAs, but during the season. But like when you get hurt, it's a tough deal on him mentally, and I'm proud of him. He worked through it. He went to work. He's in great shape. So, no, I don't. I don't think it'll affect him.
Chris, there's a lot of things players can work on, footwork, whatever technique. With injuries, I mean, with him, can you just sort of not worry about it and you just let him play? And
God's plan. I wish I could control injuries. If we could, I would get out of this and go start a business doing that, because you'd make a lot of money doing it. No, I mean, look, sometimes things happen. Guys get hurt. You wish it wouldn't happen, but it does, and you move forward no matter what.
What have been your big takeaways just being around Daniel Jones for a short period of time?
Good dude, really good guy. Centered. He's been through a lot. Daniel's been he's seen, and being in New York and the scrutiny on being a top 10 pick is not for everybody. But I thought he handled it with grace and class like you would expect, and that's who he is. And Daniel's talented. I mean, Daniel's a very talented player, so it'll be a fun competition to watch between these two guys. They're both very talented.
You preach competition a lot with that position, but there is a challenge to having two different quarterbacks kind of interchangeably with the offense. So I guess, are you confident that your skill players are ready now to handle that? And does that, will that factor in at all to wanting to get an answer earlier rather than later?
No, I think they can handle it. I mean, it's a veteran, even though they're young, they've all played a ton, and they've taken throws from both of them. So, no, their job is to get open and catch the football. So no, I don't see us pressing the timeline because of that.
Chris, you talk about being injured is mentally tough. It's also got to be hard mentally on the player.
Yep.
High draft pick. Have a guy brought in to compete with him. What have you seen from Anthony that tells you that he's going to be okay with that aspect?
It was, like when you're young and like sometimes when you get hurt, you kind of, it's easy to go into a shell. But he was, his mindset stayed very positive. I think once he heard from Dr. Elatrosh and our doctors that it wasn't a major concern going forward and that this was going to heal in a short amount of time, I think that eased his mind, which it would do anybody. But no, I'm proud of Anthony. He's growing. He's still young, but he's growing. I told you all this before, but unfortunately, growth does not happen through success. Growth happens through, you have to go through a lot of shit. And, a lot of times people don't have success because they don't want to go through it. Sometimes you got to go through it.
Chris, flipping to defense, Buck said you expect to see from that side of the ball, and how much pressure is there to perform this season?
Well, look, all of us, and Buck's right, and look, Gus Bradley and that staff, those are good football coaches. Let me preface that. Those guys are really good football coaches, and all of us have our name on it. Like me, coaches, players, everybody has their name on it. I think, Lou's a little different. You're going to see some schematic change, probably a little more diversity within the scheme. But look, at the end of the day, this game is not hard. Like blocking and tackling and don't turn it over, usually you can track those things to wins. All right, we've got to be a better tackling team. Hopefully I've helped them, and my staff and I have helped them by giving them, more players to create a little more competition. But we've got to be a better tackling defense, without question. And, hopefully we've added the pieces to help that.
you
You talked about the competition aspect of it right after the season. I think you can probably make a case that across the board, every unit has some level of competition, and did it hit the level that you hoped to accomplish back in January?
I think so. I mean, I think we've got look, of course, there's a few jobs that So I think you can point to a lot of different spots. Corner, with Wally, Juju, and Jones. That's going to be a good one to watch. And let me tell you, Wally is competitive now. He's a little pit bull, and it's fun to watch those type of competitions take place. I think at linebacker, we're going to have really good competition. A lot of unknown names. That's okay. Nobody knew who Zaire Franklin was. Nobody knew who Darius. Hell, we drafted Darius with a 36th pick, and y'all didn't know who he was. So, they got to make their own name by their play. Okay. So I think we've got good competition across the board.
Chris, you have high expectations every year, obviously, each individual year, but when you have a string of playoff misses, the message from your players this morning was like, this has to end.
Yeah.
How do you see it? And is there additional pressure because it's been a few years?
I'm not, excuse that. It didn't come out. I promise it didn't. It didn't. It did not come out. It almost did. It was just the F part. The UCK did not come out. Yeah, it sucks, man. It's the first time in my career I've ever gone 4 years without making. No, it's a bothersome thing, especially with the expectations we have here in Indy. That's the one thing with Jim that I always appreciated, man. Like he doesn't want to be average. He wants to be great, and that's Carly and I. Look, we spent a lot of time together because she's around us so much. But she always said, look, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. And that's always the goal going in. And 22 was 22 to lead. The 23 season, last game of the year, we're right there. And even last year at the end, we didn't play as good as I thought we should have, but we were still kind of in the mix. And then you go back to 21, and we're in the driver's seat, and we piss it down our legs. We have got to finish better. Like that, at the end of the day, we have to finish the seasons better because we've had some really good football teams that just haven't got it done.
Chris, Hit kind of echoed that, saying that there's a little bit of optimism knowing that they were so close last season despite playing poorly. How close do you think this group is to getting back to the postseason? I
don't know. It starts, look, we're kind of, I think we've got a good football team. How good we become will play out over time. We got to go to work. It's always about there's not a magic pill that you can take. There's nothing, there's not a magic wand. You got to go to work. The one thing you love about the NFL is you got to earn the right to win. And it takes a lot of hard work and takes a group being connected and coming together. That's what's great about training camp. So kind of day by day, we'll go to work and we'll see if we can reach what we think we can be.
Chris, is there any added pressure at all when there is a shift in ownership, or does it feel the same as it's been every year?
Pressure. People talk about pressure. Pressure. First, the change in ownership, no. That they understand what Jim wanted, and I think they'll do things differently, but they'll do things their way, but also with their father on their minds. I think the whole time. And then when you talk about pressure, we get to play football for a living. To me, it's all for me in general. It's always about the journey. The journey is the reward, okay? The good and the bad. At the end, when you roll up at the end of your life and you look back, it's not going to all be roses, okay? But to be able to do what I do and what we're able to do is play football every day. I don't ever take that for granted. That's not pressure in my mind. That's being blessed. Pressure is the family that is living week to week on paycheck trying to feed their kids. That's pressure. This is entertainment. And I have been blessed my entire career to be able to do something I love and I'm passionate about. And I will never one day take that for granted. Even the shit I have to sit up here and take sometimes. It's okay because I could be doing something else that I didn't love.
Chris, is getting Bernie down a priority?
Contracts. I mean, I won't talk about that, but he's a really good player, and we think a lot of him.
So I know perhaps a different word, pressure or whatever, but in the space you're in, there is a certain level of expectation. And when Carly was saying, she said that you and Shane, they know they haven't been good enough, or we have to fix this. So when you hear her say that, I guess how do you feel about it?
No different than I feel about anything. Like, I don't know if y'all realize the amount of scrutiny that we put on ourselves. It's much harder than you. And I don't ever, if I go into something worried about the outcome and it being a negative outcome, that's no way to live, man. You can't live that way. I come to work and try to be the best steward I can be for this organization and for this city. That's what I try to do every day. That's it. And look, one day they're going to have a different GM. That's part of our league. I don't know when that'll happen, but I don't sit around thinking. I don't think about that.
Knowing that, how hard is it for you to grade yourself after 4 years and not going to the playoffs, saying, I work my ass off, I do my best, but I've got to adjust somehow? How difficult is that?
It's not. I mean, I'm stubborn. I mean, I think y'all all know that. But I mean, I think we did in a lot of ways. We did, and I think that's all part of growth. I mean, being able to really look internally and figure out, okay, what we're doing. There's a lot of really good things that are very valid, but also being able to sit back and say, okay, we need to do things a little bit differently. And those discussions and collaborations with our staff was good, and I think we did do some things a little differently than we have in the past.
What do you feel like? Take a couple more. Those might be obvious to you, but what do you feel like those are things you did do differently?
Well, we were more aggressive in free agency than, I say, y'all say we never do. I mean, I disagree. I've always disagreed. I've told y'all that. I mean, the year we signed Buckner and Rivers and, but we were more aggressive at the onset of free agency. And I think the players we signed are going to really help us and be good Colts.
After years of, being kind of on the hamster wheel of not making the playoffs, and you talk about having confidence in your process, what gives you that confidence, and why should other people have confidence in your process when the end result hasn't been there the last 4 years?
Yeah. No, look, anytime you don't make the playoffs, people are going to question what you do. But at the end of the day, you have to believe in something. We have to have, if we are vacillating on what everybody else says and thinks, then we really don't believe in anything. We don't. We have no belief in anything if we're not willing to believe in what we're doing. I do believe. I think we've drafted really well. I think we all and done some, and not been perfect by any stretch. Not by any stretch. I'm not saying we're perfect, but I think we've done some good things, and I think we've done some good things with the team. But at the end of the day, the one position we all know, we have to get the quarterback settled, and get that position carries such an importance to just almost the state of your team when you've got that position solidified. He's one of 53, and it's not all about him, but he's an important piece.
Chris, how much has the last 2 years with Anthony, the injuries, kept you guys from being settled offensively, just in terms of learning him, being able to develop the identity? It feels like, usually when there's a new quarterback, it takes 6 games, and then you guys kind of figure something out. But it's been in and out so much. Has the coaching staff had a chance to really learn that?
I'm trying to get with what you're getting at here. I mean, our offensive philosophy, it's going to change a little bit, when Anthony's in the game. And I think Daniel and Anthony are similar in a lot of ways. Now, Gardner and Anthony were completely different. Flacco and Anthony were completely different. So I think you'll see more, continuity, and really all of our quarterbacks now. They all, have ability to do some things with their feet. So I think you'll see more, of a similar offense with each guy. Now, you figure out what each one of them are really good at, and you try to do that. That's the one thing I always appreciated about Coach Reed in Kansas City is like whoever the quarterback was, man, he could fit it. And Shane can do the same thing. But now we have, the group is they're different, but there's some similarities. So I think the offense will be able to carry over a little bit more.
Do you view this year as a make or break year for Anthony? And I know you've said this, so to follow up to that. Why not? Considering that he's going into year 3, you do have the option coming up, that decision. But I guess why is your timeline perhaps different than one I might have perceived or at the outside world?
Do you think people regret Baker Mayfield's timeline? Sam Darnold's timeline? Let's just go.
Say they changed teams.
Exactly. And so how about sometimes you got to have a little patience with a guy and let them grow through things. Now, there's got to be, like, if you just know this guy, no, he can't do it. But if you think, hey, he's on the right trajectory, why are you gonna flush him just because people outside think you should flush him? I don't agree with that. I think we need to give Anthony every chance to be the best he can be, and I think he can be really good. But things got to come together.
Just to put a pin on that, how have the injuries complicated trying to happen?
Oh, there's no question it's complicated. I mean, you miss, like, you just think about missing and I know the mental reps, yes, but it's physical reps, just practice reps, all that stuff. When you miss it, yeah, it does. It delays the timeline a little bit.
Chris, you talk about the poor end this season's, obviously the week 1 storyline is still there. When you think about both of those things, start, finishes, anything training camp wise you guys have done to try and change how you start and or finish seasons?
This will be a pretty physical training camp, okay? And Shane and I have had long talks about that. This game is still, look, toughness still wins. It does. And I think that, we're limited enough as it is without pads. And the NFL and I think football in general has done an unbelievable job taking the head out of the game, okay? They're teaching much different than they did 10, 15 years ago. They've taken the head out of the game, but it's still a physical game, all right? And I think to be physical, you have to practice physical. You do. So I think you'll see a little switch there.
Talked about the trajectory.
Let's do one more here.
With AR, what things have you seen just trajectory-wise to give you hope that he can figure it out, considering the injuries, the accuracy, the benching, things like that?
Yeah, well, look, there was a 3 or 4 game run, after his benching when he came back that was really good. I think we'd all agree that was a great stretch of football. And there's been stretches of accuracy that's been really good. The Jet game was, that's probably the best game he played in his career against a really good defense. The record didn't show it, but that team defensively was really good. And then what really gives me a lot of hope, so I don't know if you can think back to these moments, but at the end of the Pittsburgh game, people forget we had to get a first down there. He threw a pass to Pittman to get the first, to kind of get the clock down. In pressure moments, his ability to slow it down and make a play, he's shown it multiple times. You go back to his rookie year against the Rams. We're down, 23-0, brings us back to tie the game. The Jet game, to win it. He had to make throws to win it. New England, 4th down throw to get us within, the 2-point conversion. So there's been some signs in pressure moments that he can get things done. Now we just got to be able to do it all the time.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Kenny, what are the vibes like? Move-in day for training camp.
First day of school all over again.
What are the feelings like? What's the emotions like? As you're not new to this, so what makes this one different?
Just excited to be here. It's not. I don't really know. I just got up here and came down here. I haven't really spoke to many of the guys just yet, but I'm sure it'll be Very joyful in the locker room to turn the page, to begin a new season, to get back to work and put it all together.
There's some guys on this team, Justin Wallace talked about how he has modeled his game after you, how he's looked up to you. What does that mean for you to hear that?
I think it's cool, just aside from the S's and O's, just being a role model, just being a good guy, being a guy that, someone else can look up to is always a dream come true. And but back to football, you want to be the epitome of a good football player. You want to be the epitome of the team that you kind of represent. So it's cool to hear him say that. It makes me feel old because he said he's been watching me for X amount of years. But it's good to share the floor with him, and I'm able to learn from him as well.
Kenny, what are your expectations with Lou leading this defense this year?
Versatility, and I guess that goes hand in hand with being passive and aggressive. My expectation is being proactive. Yeah.
With last year not really going how you guys wanted it to, do you find yourself individually going into this year at all with any different intentions, or like planning on changing your approach at all?
I think that's a good question. I don't know. One man can only do so much, I feel like. And I think me personally, just learning how to lead. I think I'm still trying to learn how to lead different guys. Everybody's different and how they come along, through the journey. And I just want to be there for, all the guys, especially the guys on the back end, because I rub shoulders with them more than anyone on the team. So just honestly, just making sure that we got a good head on our shoulders going into the game. I think everything that I want to do this upcoming year is just extra. I'm just thinking about doing things extra, like how I can be an extra good teammate, how I can watch film extra, how I can stay at the practice extra. And I think that'll just be a reminder for me each day, being in the moment, being present, and doing all the things good, and not that we're gonna get something from this or it's gonna be transactional. I think just because I think that's how we're supposed to love the game. So just being in year 9, I think it can obviously you can get numb to the process, and every day is kind of the same, but I just want to do things extra to kind of refresh the game, refresh the love of it. So, yeah.
How important is that extra effort? Go ahead, Joe.
At this point, maybe every year, are you driven by individual success or team success, or are they intertwined?
Hell no. Team success over individual success by far. I mean, you can have the best individual career year there is, but if you don't make playoffs, if you don't go far as a team, if you don't see your other teammates, your brothers happy, if you don't see them excited about what they got going on, that's kind of all for nothing. And I think whenever the cleats hang up and everything, I think it'll all come down to camaraderie. It'll come down to how the locker room is. That's how you remember this season. And as far as how you win, how you did it, what's the memory from all those. And if all the memory is just you, then I don't think you'll really be happy with that. So, like I said, I just want to be here for the guys and just make sure that we're feeling good about each day going forward, and we're prepared, and we just want to be there. And I want them to be there for me too. I think year 9 or just being a vet in general, people think that you got it, the entire makeup, or you got so much energy for everybody else. But like when you delegate to a lot of different humans and they want to be their best, you want them to be their best, like your cup is slowly drains down. So yeah, I just gotta be more open with the guys in the room. I want to. A lot of my friends not here anymore, so I gotta meet new friends and get closer to some more guys just to keep the morale up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
With all of the new faces in the secondary, how important is that extra that you want to put in to kind of creating that team feel, especially with a new defensive coordinator?
I mean, it's very important this year. I think we gotta really interesting year because we have free agents who are now here and younger guys, and then durability and guys who haven't played and guys who need experience. We have, JJ, he's come a long way, and he's taken some great snaps for us, some important snaps for us, and he's been in some important games as well. So having those snaps, being in those games to have under his belt is really important. But we got to be able to flow that through the entire room of getting guys on the field, getting guys in the experience of seeing things, feeling things, good plays, bad plays, how to maneuver through all those things mentally and physically to kind of, keep the play up to the highest level.
Kenny, we've heard a lot about what's the value of having a guy like Mooney Ward come in and hear somebody in your room who's accomplished, I would imagine, all the things you want to do in this game?
Yeah, like I said, like experience is that. Like, we have guys who have played in some really big games. Him and Cam, they've won a lot of games. So I'm doing all I can to learn from those guys, and I'm sure first day they'll have the energy of being in a fresh new environment to lead this year, and I'm all for it.
What stuck out about Lou's personality from meeting him and getting to know him a little bit?
Just taking charge. He's the captain. So it's good to see, from a player's perspective, and he has that relationship with his players. You can just tell he has that relationship with his players where it's not the end all be all, but he wants to know what we think and how we feel. He's watching film from prior years to coach us on that, and we've seen a lot of things from Cincinnati, a lot of great things from over there. So we're just excited to translate all those great plays to over here.
Kenny, we've heard how critical communication is, in particular within this secondary. What are the things that you do on the field in training camp, off the field, the additional that you have to do to be sure that communication between yourself, the safeties, the rest of the quarterbacks is at the level you need to be come game day?
I think it's time on task. Whenever we get a couple hours at lunch after practice and stuff, and we play, cards, and just having the guys around is really important because when it comes down to that 3rd and 2, when you need it, you know where this guy's coming from. You know how he plays. Practice is very important because you got to be intentional with that. Practice and walkthrough would probably be the most important factors in training camp. Obviously with us having these 12-hour days, those two things in general is where you can really learn about the teammates you're on the field with. So I think just being present and being in the moment during those times, you'll learn a lot about your teammates as well as yourself.
Can you guys defensively take the next step? We have a lot of talent, right? And we believe that. What does that look like, do you think? I know it's a broad question, but if this defense takes another step, what can that look like?
If this defense takes that step, what can we look like? Look, I think, every team in this league wants to go win a Super Bowl. We want to be top 5 in defense. So however way we can make that happen, however way we can put the ball in the offensive side in their hands as much as possible, I think we'll be able to do that. So it's taking the ball away. That's what I'm really excited for, is taking the ball away, getting after the quarterback, disrupting timing, and honestly just jumping around, having fun, dancing and stuff. So just figuring that out and making sure that we're getting the ball back to the offense as much as possible just to get those guys down there to score. That's what we got to do this year. So that's going to be our task at hand, and I'm excited to get after it.
Thanks, Kenny. It feels great. This is year 10 for me, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun to be here.
What's the feeling like with the team right now, with heading into, turning a new page, trying to get some success this season?
Yeah, I feel like the morale's up. Everybody's been great, since we've been back in OTAs and everything, and I know the guys are excited to be back and, ready to go, hit the ball rolling. Obviously we were all away for a while and training and everything, and after a couple of weeks of training, in the off season, for me personally, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go hit somebody.
Okay, are you driven by individual success or team success?
Both.
Or the intertwined?
Yeah, they're really intertwined. I mean, when the team's playing well, that means I'm doing my job. You know what I mean? I feel like it goes hand in hand. You know, when if I'm doing a good job and playing like I should be, you know, I'm pulling my weight in, you know, helping the team succeed. So it kind of goes hand in hand for me. That's what really drives me. But I mean, ultimately, I mean, doesn't matter. Honestly, at the end of the day, how I play. If we win, I mean, that brings me joy. So
The frustration level of 4 years of not being there. I mean, you get there your first year here. In that sense, how do you deal with the frustration?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's tough because like, you know, obviously coming here my first year and seeing the team that we had and going into the season and the season we had, I mean, which is crazy. We went 11-5 and we're the 7th seed in the AFC. I mean, it's nuts. But just seeing the team that we had and the potential that we have and all the players that we have and a lot of the guys, I mean, some of the core guys we still have here, you know what I mean? And you know, not being able to get over that hump the past 4 years, I mean, it's definitely been frustrating, you know. But you know, it's just obviously like conversations that you need to have with the guys, you know, throughout the locker room. Some of them, the leaders, you know, we've been discussing like things on how we need to approach and approach some things differently. You know what I mean, when it comes to our teammates or whatever it is, and you know, find those extra couple wins to get over the hump to make it to the playoffs.
You know, we'll talk a lot about quarterback, but do you feel like defensively you guys have something to prove?
Definitely, yeah, most definitely. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter what happened. There was games where the offense put us in positions where we could win last year, and you know, we dropped the ball, and that was, I mean, since I've been here, the worst defensive performance, you know, for a season that we've had since I've been here. You know what I mean? And it was, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, your name's attached to that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how good of a season you had personally, whatever it is. I mean, my name's on that, you know, and I have a lot to prove this year.
With that defense last year, you were pretty open about a lot of the reasons why things that didn't go according to plan. What needs to be different this year, this training camp, to avoid some of that?
Yeah, everybody needs to buy in and believe in the one goal that we're trying to accomplish, and that's win a Super Bowl, and being able to do whatever it takes and doing your job, you know, without anybody's egos getting attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you mess up, I mean, just admit to it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, move on from it. That's how we get better. And you got to be able to take criticism.
You talked about how competition, new players can help with that. Are you excited with some of the additions like, you know, Mooney and Kent Bynum and what that's going to do for that?
No, definitely. I'm excited about those guys. You know, what we did, we were able to do this all season in free agency and in the draft. You know, adding competition to the group, I mean, only makes the team better. You know what I'm saying? It makes guys in the room, you know, play harder, and then, I mean, that's what you want. You know, you want guys fighting for a spot.
When you have a new defensive coordinator, what maybe makes for a successful training camp?
Say it again, my bad.
When you have a new defensive coordinator come in, like what maybe makes for a successful training camp in like that circumstance?
Yeah, I feel like for successful training camp, I mean, I feel like we did a really good job with Lou coming in and handling the workload that he brought us and with all the different plays and stuff like that, being able to execute it throughout OTAs. And so to have a successful camp, it's, you know, we're guys in their playbook, you know, while we're away to make sure we have a seamless transition to coming into camp and being able to really execute the plays at full speed when we're having, you know, 11-on-11s and stuff like that.
On Lou, Kenny said, like, personality-wise, like, you know he's the captain of the defense. What stuck out to you personality-wise about
Lou?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I just love his how blunt he is. You know, he's straight to the point. He don't sugarcoat nothing, and that's the type of coach that I've always loved throughout my career. You know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to know how to get better if my coach doesn't tell me? And so it doesn't matter who you are. You know what I mean? All Pro, Pro Bowl, or to the lowest guy on the totem pole. I mean, Lou's gonna tell you if you messed up, and he's gonna tell you that's not how he wants it, and he's gonna tell you, you know, this is the way you should do it. So I mean, that's what I appreciate about him.
You got a new coordinator, but how critical is it to have Coach Partridge 2 years in a row now?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely big for us, especially for the young guys in the room. You know, being able to have a same D-line coach 2 years in a row, you know what he expects from you and the techniques that he wants you to use. And I mean, Charlie's been great for our room. I mean, he's been great with just a little technique stuff and breaking down film with the guys. And so we're definitely very fortunate to have him in our room.
Thanks, Bud.
Thank you.
You were very excited about driving that golf cart, like
Yeah.
unusually excited.
Oh, I mean, anytime I get to drive something around here, you know, where I'm driving, flying, boating, swimming, like I just love all forms of transportation. So,
That's the most random opening day quote ever, but okay.
I mean, trains are kind of, I mean, I'm not going to say they're easy because I have no idea, but it seems like they're on tracks. You just got to press go or something, right?
That makes sense.
You know, but my train conductors, I don't get mad at me because I don't really know. So.
Pitt, it looks like you guys got some time together, at least among the offense. Saw a couple photos. Can you just tell us how much time you guys were able to spend and the priority that there was on doing that?
Yeah, so we were in California for about half a week, and we got in a lot of good work, and we had a lot of fun while doing it. And I think guys got to know each other better, and that was the whole point of it. So.
When was it? Is it challenging trying to establish chemistry with two quarterbacks heading into camp?
I mean, it's probably not what most teams are doing, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, like it's competition, and that's the great thing about football is you compete every single year. So everybody's out here competing. Me, Buck, the quarterback. So like it's just part of it.
How much on-field work did you guys do out there? Was there some of that too?
Yeah. So we went every day that we were there, except for the day that guys got in so we got 3 days of solid work, and yeah, we definitely had fun, but we definitely worked too. So
I know Anthony missed the last couple of weeks, but were you able to get some time with him to maybe make up for that?
Yeah. So he actually came out and was part of it. Obviously, like he's had his deal, so. Yeah. But we're gonna get everything that we need like during this session here, so it'll be fun.
Pitch your frustration level. You've talked about it with the playoffs. You make it the first time, you think, hey, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But not making it and just being so close. What's the frustration level going into this season? Or do you move past it?
Well, there's some positive in it because you think about last year how it felt like everything went wrong, but we were still right there. So it just shows, hey, maybe if one more thing goes right, then we're in there, and then who knows what happens. So there is a level of frustration, but there's also a level of optimism that like we are right there. You know, if we change like one small thing, it might make a huge difference.
And with the change in at the top with the daughters now in control, are you under the microscope more as a team to prove to them that you're headed in the right direction?
Well, I mean, I think that they've been involved here since I've been a part of this team. So I definitely think we have a lot of pressure to win, but so does every other team, right? And we just want to perform for them and perform for Jim and just carry on like what he started here. So
Buck just mentioned like those results. They're like a reflection of each of you to a degree, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, is that something you think about? I mean, you have a lot of pride, and you're here, you know, for the right reasons, obviously.
Absolutely. I mean, it definitely is because when you think of all those really good teams that make the playoffs like year after year, the guys on those teams are respected, and every player wants that. So we're all chasing that, definitely.
What have you seen from AD Mitchell? Like, obviously, you guys have all talked about his moves different out there.
Yeah.
In terms of preparation behind the scenes, have you been able to tell a difference in him yet?
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a elite route runner. I mean, he's open like every play. Just when it all just comes together, I think that you guys are going to see it, and everybody's going to be like, wow, like he's out of nowhere, just like the best player ever. But he's been that guy. So just for whatever reason, it just didn't come to fruition last year. But he definitely works hard, and one-on-ones and practice, he's always open. So I can't see why it's not going to work out for him.
You took that big jump in year two. So what do you think is going to be key for AD or anyone at that position to make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just understanding the game of football like as a whole. So there's like the actual gaming part, and then there's and then there is like the preparation and the expectation and everything it takes to get to Sunday and be ready to play. And once he gets that like all together, which I think he has, I think you guys will finally get to see like what I see every day.
So you felt better in year 2?
Oh yeah.
Just because.
Oh yeah. I mean, as a rookie, you have to learn the plays and like you know them, but you don't know them like with confidence. And like there's sometimes when Philip would be changing plays, I'd be like, oh, I think this is the right route, and then but you don't run it as fast. So, but then like in year 2, like I knew everything like the back of my hand, and was able to play a lot faster.
You were definitely, hampered last year. I know you don't want to talk about the back, but I mean, will you be a different guy, do you feel like, this year?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is like another year to kind of prove everybody what it really is, right? Because last year, I mean, like I don't make any type of excuses, but it just wasn't good enough. So getting back to the level and even going past what I've done like in like the past is the plan.
Is that everything with the back in the past?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel great, ready to get into camp.
Michael, you mentioned Philip. He just announced his retirement yesterday. What influence did Philip Rivers have on you? It was just the 1 year of your rookie season, but I can only imagine.
I'd probably say the biggest influence that I have on him is just the amount of kids. I mean, I'm trying to have like 7 kids, but my wife says 4, but I say 7. So like we'll see like what happens. But he just taught me what it means to be a pro. And just his like leadership, like from like an early age, like I just saw like everything it took, and I kind of added those into my daily routines. So he kind of showed me the way.
Hey, how were you, if you don't mind, how were you specifically kind of slowed by the back injury? Like, was it just explosiveness in general, or how can we kind of contextualize?
Well, there's a lot of different battles in there. It's like a mental battle. It's a physical battle because every day that you wake up, it's like, can I keep doing it? And it messes with your confidence, your mental ability to come in every day and like you can fake it, but after a while, like it starts to get to you. So.
You're looking forward to going against Trevor Ward every day. That's going to be kind of a different challenge.
Absolutely. I mean, that brings me back to my first couple years when we had X and then we had Gilly. Like, it was just a battle every single day, and I think it made me better. So it'll be good to go up against him. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting to get back. New year, just new opportunities. It's always good to see the guys from a long summer. It's weird we spend so much time together, and then when you don't see each other, you miss each other. So it's always good seeing everybody in the building, ready to get back to it, get to work, and get the team season successful.
Who did you miss the most?
You said, who did I miss the most? That's a good question. You know what? I actually was around a lot this all season, and then I had the guys over the other day, so I did see. I always love seeing Big Grove. I ain't gonna lie. I do always love seeing Big Grove. He give big bear hug. He's the only person that picked me up off my feet. I'd be like, yo, stop picking me up. Really, I mean, just all the guys. I ain't gonna lie. I don't really know if me and K-Mo. I didn't seen the guys. Like, the thing is, we friends like outside of the building, so I didn't see. I was just with Juju at his community event on Saturday, which is amazing. Definitely shout out to young Jude Brents, man. He put on for the city, so that was awesome. And Josh was there, Goody was there, so like I done really been with a lot of the guys too, so that's always cool. So.
How's the ankle? How you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better. This is my first surgery since I've been in the league. First time I even missed this many practices. It's funny because all the new guys in here, I'm like, y'all don't even know me. I played through everything, so it's definitely been a transition. But man, I'm just so process oriented. Just been focused on, just getting better and growing every single day. The team here in Indy did a great job with me this summer. I pushed them, they pushed me, and it's getting better every day. So I'm just looking forward when I get out there and be with the guys. I ain't gonna be out there first day of school, but I'll be turned up on the sideline. So. Is
that why you were around more? You were getting the work in, trying to get back, I guess? Yeah,
no question. Obviously the training staff here, I've had a great relationship with them since. I came in and, I think they just did a great job of supporting me. Trying to make sure I was getting my my rehab right the right way. I did, sneak out and dip out a few times to get some work in and for other business. But, for the most part, I was in Indy for all summer, and I enjoyed it. It was hotter here than I thought it would be, but, yeah.
Do you have a sense for how close or not close you are to getting on the field?
Man, we still progressing. We still working. I will say, I have been running. So that's a big thing. But, I don't know if it's necessarily a timetable on it for us. I just know we want to make sure it's right because, as you know, this is a marathon. So we got 22 weeks to go. So we got to lock in when we're ready.
We talked to Buck, and he said how last year he thought it was the worst defensive performance you guys have had. And then the changes were made, coordinator and the free agents. Do you applaud those moves, and are you really eager for what this defense can be?
Man, I'm extremely looking forward to this year. I just, with the addition of Lou, just a breath of fresh air. Everybody's back at a level of zero of accountability, which is much needed, from all pro to undrafted. When you got a new person in, it allows everybody to get a fresh start and like I said, give a fresh opportunity for a first impression. And then obviously with the additions that we got, there's definitely great energy in the building, definitely, especially those guys coming from winning cultures. That's the biggest thing for me. At this point, we need everybody to show up and be who they say they are. So if you're a leader, show up and be a leader. If you're a playmaker, show up and be a playmaker. And if everybody show up and be who they be and we come together as a team, we'll be very successful.
Everybody asks about, is there pressure this time of year, and of course pressure on everybody. But you guys haven't gotten the results you look for.
Yeah.
Like a number of years straight now. How much do you kind of have to sort of keep that at the front of your mind to change that?
Man, it's something, to be honest with you, something that I felt, obviously every year, but specifically this off season, even just, I wouldn't say in person, but, definitely the interactions with the fans and stuff, they're upset, and they're demanding. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't say it's a pressure thing because at the end of the day, we all starting at the bottom of the mountain, So it's a climb for every single team in the league. I just, was inspired watching the Pacers, watching how they was able to come together as a team, how they was able to continue to grow and build together. That's something that we trying to replicate and continue to build on here, man. It's so tough when you just a handful of bad moments away, and we've had our fair share, so it's about time we make some great memories. So,
what can you guys do in training camp just this time of year to improve on that and avoid some of the things that happened last year?
Man, you know what I think it is? I think, again, man, I would just say definitely coming together as a team. Not only in the building, outside of the building, on the field, really, helping continue to build that bond. And like I said, I feel like for everybody in our building, he talk about pressure, but I just feel like we all got something to prove, which is always a good thing. Like, this locker room is hungry. It's a lot of guys in here trying to prove not only that they deserve a certain respect, a certain place in this league, or deserve a certain spot on the field, or deserve a certain space on the team. And when you got a team in a building full of competition, in an organization where everybody from the top to bottom is out to prove themselves, that usually is a recipe for success.
What are some things you've had to do not being on the field during the spring and then missing the first couple of days here potentially? What are some things you've had to do to make sure you're on top of the new defense?
Oh man. It's funny. So, I was a nerd in school. I always loved school. So, but I had to go back to my finance classes when I was up with my roommate, and we studying supply chain and all that, rewriting my notes, walking through stuff at home. I'm at home at night, just running through calls in my head. Okay, watching this. Coach Betts did a great job of being a resource for me to lean on. Obviously, Lou has always shot ideas off of me too. But it's been good, man. I'm a true student of the game. Every year I'm studying the great linebackers of the past season already. And the beauty of this defense is putting me in a position that I haven't had the opportunity to be in before, which I'm really looking forward to. And then in that breath, I've been able to watch different linebackers that I haven't watched. You know, I've obviously been watching the Freds and, you know, the B-Wags and those guys. But now I've been able to open that breath up because, you know, just this new scheme's going to put me in a better situation. So, yeah, no, I'm super excited. I can't wait to get out there, get moving, get in that huddle with the guys. I think that's just the thing I miss the most is just being out there with the boys. So.
See, Buck made reference to accountability with Lou, and you kind of made reference to that too. How specifically, what does that look like? How does he kind of hold you guys accountable?
I mean, you got to think from Lou's perspective. He's been a coach in this league for a long time. He's seen a lot. He's been around a lot. He understands what a standard is for a great defense. So for him, he's coming in here setting that standard and setting that baseline for everybody. Accountability is, you know, putting your pride, your whatever you feel like you may have coming aside and being able to humble yourself to understand that nobody's above anything. And I think, again, sometimes I just really feel like having somebody else in there makes the biggest change because it just gives everybody a chance to start again. So,
all right, thanks, Steve.
yeah, for sure, appreciate it.
Buck, Zaire, et cetera, Kenny. And, you know, it seems like there's a lot of hunger on this defense to, like, take another step. How do you feel? How do you see it?
I feel great about this year, you know. Yeah, for sure, hunger. We know what we put on film last year, and we're just trying to, you know, rewrite the script and, you know, just come out here and play our best ball. We got the dudes that we wanted, and, you know, we're excited for this defense, and we're excited for the players on this defense that make plays. So.
When the last season doesn't go like you hope it do, and then they go new coordinator, corner, safety, high in the draft, yeah. You're just saying, hell yes.
Yeah, you know, I feel like we have all the pieces. You know, we're all excited, just seeing how it looked in OTAs, and we're just ready to ball out.
What have been your takeaways from getting to know Lou, and what are your expectations of this defense this season under him?
He's a no BS East Coast guy, you know, so he's gonna call it how it is. If you're not doing your job, he's gonna let you know about it in front of everybody, and you know that's just the standard what it is, and that's what we need. So excited for Lou, man, and we're excited when he came in, and you know he put his foot down, and he just let us know how it's gonna be. So yeah, just ready.
Has he got after you yet?
Yeah, a little bit, you know. So, you know, just learning the new defense, you know, even though we're learning the new defense, he's still going to get on you because that's what you want, you know, for a guy to, you know, tell you what you're doing wrong and not to pat you on the back and tell you, oh, it's going to be all right. So, yeah.
Quiddy, as you go into a contract year, how do you view that opportunity? And, you know, is that something that's top of mind?
Yeah, you know, it's a great opportunity. You know, I'm just going to put my head down and play some great ball, you know, just excited for the opportunity. Another year with my guys. You know, yeah, so I'm just ready.
A year ago, we were talking about how you went through a pretty intense off-season at Proactive and dropped weight. What was this off-season like for you? How did you handle the training and all that?
Yeah, you know, this off-season, I feel like I just really tailored it more towards more on the field and then just making sure my body's feeling good. Making sure my spine is mobile, you know, just making sure my hips are in line, my ankles are good. You know, just really taking care of my body this offseason. Last year I felt like it was a good offseason, but for sure did a lot. And I wanted to take care of myself more because I feel like we're going to go far in the playoffs this year. So, you know, I want to do that.
You feel like last year you went maybe a little too hard at times?
Yeah, I think I went a little bit too hard at times. And, you know, kind of just – that's the good thing about the offseason. You know, you just see what you did last year and then see what the result was in season. And then you just tailor it up to, you know, just have a better season. So.
What gives you that belief that you can go far in the playoffs? I mean, given the fact that you haven't made the playoffs as a team
yeah.
for 4 years.
I mean, I personally, I just feel like we have all the pieces, you know, and, you know, we have to kind of speak that into existence. You know, I feel like at times, like, we shied away from it a little bit in the past, but, you know, this year, you know, that's the expectation, you know, playoffs. So nothing less than playoffs, and, yeah, that's what we're striving for.
You and Latu have obviously gotten to kind of talk shop and spend time together. You know, his rookie year, felt like he left, you know, a lot out there. What conversations been like between you guys when it comes to expectations this year?
Yeah, I mean, he put a lot of great film, you know, out there last year. Just finishing. You know, he took it hard on himself, you know, to finish, and he put in a lot of work this offseason. You know, just damn near working every day on the field. And you know, I was talking to Coach Eddie, and he was like, "Man, like Latu, like." He's just bugging me every day, like, let's go do something. So, you know, just seeing him with that hunger, wants to improve for the team, for himself, it's great.
What's the next step, I guess, in your game? You going into
Year 5?
Yeah, year 5.
This is perfect. I guess to back up, does it feel like it's year 5 and then
Crazy.
what are you trying to still build on?
I feel like the off season gets shorter and shorter every year, but just excited to get back to it and just really try to be a real instrumental piece in this defense. Try to be a game changer. Just trying to impose my will on the offense. Just go out there and ball, man. Yeah. It's year 5, and I feel like I need to take that step to submit myself and just do my thing.
You guys
Talk
get
about-
judged so much by sacks, but I mean,
Mhm.
like, what's the difference sometimes between like a guy who gets 7 or 8 or 12, right? I mean, sometimes there's not a huge difference in the ability of the player, but how do you go from 6, 7, 8 to double digits?
Yeah, for me, just looking back as far as like on my film, just knowing when to execute certain things. Like I was sitting down talking ball with my former coach, Coach Newell, who's now at USC, and just picking his brain about some things and how he approaches teaching pass rush and like just knowing like, all right, like if a guy's soft setting, like you have no choice but to run through his face. And when we were watching some of my film from last year, I would get a soft set and I'm trying to do like a finesse move, even though I had to cut it loose to my side. That's when I can like, just say, nah, fuck the cut it loose and, just run through his face and collapse the pocket. And if I don't get the sack, I'm gonna get the pressure and one of my teammates gonna get the sack. So, just trying to impact the game any way I can, just impose my will and, just try to affect the game in my own way.
We talk about building out your body. Has anything had to change with going to Lou's system? Did you target maybe a different like playing weight, or how did you kind of look at what you wanted to be coming into this training camp?
Going into the off season, I knew I wanted to cut some body fat, just be more lean. I cut 2.5, 3 pounds in body fat. So, just being more lean, being able to stay out there in the field longer. I don't want to come off the field this year. I want to just stay in the field for however many plays we have. So, just grinding and, just being more fluid in my hips, like how we spoke about, with the drops and stuff. So, getting more comfortable with that. And yeah, man, just ready.
You know what your playing weight is now?
My playing weight will be like 268. Yeah, 267, 68.
Dio moved on in free agency, and they brought in
My dog.
JT to come
Yeah.
in and try and replace some of that. The Ohio State of it aside, how can you help a guy like that?
Yeah, JT, besides Ohio State, he's been a great guy, coming in, a great rookie. And he's been like a sponge, asking a bunch of questions, and we've been nothing but, just try to help him get up to speed. And, he's a smart kid, and he'll be great for this defense, man. He'll be a great player for us, and yeah, I feel like he's gonna ball out. So yeah, man, just excited for JT, excited for this defense. Yeah.
Changed the results this year. I'm talking about, your teammates have talked about this, and like, you're putting a fair amount of pressure on yourself to do something big this year. Do you feel that too? And is it time?
I think it's time every year. You just got to come in and work. You just got to come in and work, and you got to execute on Sundays. I mean, football is a simple game. Of course, easier said than done. That's the hard part, is going out there and beating the man across from you. But we got to go out there and execute on Sundays. You got to show results, like you said. You got to show results. You got to get wins. You got to stack them.
JT, again, no playoffs in 4 years, but you can go back and look at this play, or this play in each year. Just one or two plays. Is that what you're talking about, the details? And you're not that far away, I guess, as a team.
Definitely, but those are the plays. Those are the things that put those other teams over the edge. So can you lock in? Can you play a full 60 minutes? Can you play each and every single play with a level of focus, a level of intensity, but a level of execution as well?
You talk a fine line. It's
a fine line. It's a very fine line.
JT, what drives you at this point in your career?
Definitely just being the best. I think that's what drives everybody. Everybody wants to win. Everyone wants to be the best. And when you go out there each and every single day, I mean, you're not only trying to just prove it to your teammates, your coaches, but you're proving it to yourself. You're like, listen, I put the work in the offseason. I'm going to continue to put the work in every single day in order to become one of the best, in order to help the team. It's a small part. Everyone plays a small part in the overall goal of winning.
Talked to Coach Smith in the spring. He said you were trying to be really intentional about improving in pass protection and just getting all those details and everything. How far do you think you've come, and how much room do you want to make out there?
Oh, I think I've come a long way, especially just coming in from college. But you continue to work every single day.
JT, so much is on the quarterbacks and the attention, but they want to run the ball here, and that's what you do. Do you feel that, not pressure, but responsibility to sort of carry the load along with the rest of the guys in the room?
For sure, you definitely want to be able to have your team lean on you, but it's nothing that I'm not used to, ever since high school. So it's all about being prepared coming into the season, working throughout the training camp to be able to carry that load throughout the season. And we got a room full of backs. We got a lot of juice in that room, so I'm sure we're up for the task.
JT, there are some new guys starting on the offensive line this season with the departures of Will Fries, Ryan Kelly. What have you seen so far from guys like Tanner and Matt? Danny, what do you expect the competition to be like along that offensive line through camp?
It's going to be pretty nice. I came in with Danny, so I know what he's capable of. But Tanner and Matt, I really like those guys. They got some juice to them. Always nice to have another Wisconsin guy, of course, in the building. But I thought that Matt definitely played well throughout the year, being able to get better. Being able to get better throughout the year last year when he had those opportunities. So it's going to be interesting to see how they mesh together, because then it's on the running backs to figure out, hey, how do we now mesh with the new five up front?
JT, sorry if this has been asked, but what's the most exciting thing for you as we start training camp?
Just getting ready to work, getting ready to have another opportunity and a chance to showcase to the world what the Indianapolis Colts can be, and in order to stack those wins.
Is the question marks around the quarterback situation, does that affect you running backs at all?
It always does, because we need to make sure that whoever is back there with us, we need to make sure that we mesh with them. We need to make sure whatever we're doing is making their job as easy as possible. However that looks, whatever we can do to make their job as easy as possible, that's what we're there for.
How is that progressing with you guys? Pitt was talking about, it's difficult. Not every team is installing two potential starting quarterbacks. So how do you guys navigate that?
Number one, I think it's just paying attention to the details of what each quarterback likes on different schemes. Some quarterbacks, like you, hey, stay in a little bit, just make sure everything is secure. Some coaches, some players at quarterback are also like, hey, listen, I need you to get out. I need you to be in your spot. So it just depends on who you're with. Like, for instance, shout out to Phillip Rivers, retirement, Uncle Phil. He was the one that kind of really had me get into the playbook. We'd go up to the line and we'd have two plays called, and then he changed the entire play. So my rookie year, that kind of forced me to learn the playbook. But he was the guy, he's like, hey, I need you to get out, get to your spot. So now hey, check your protection, get out to your spot. So just different things like that.
Couple more. What was the biggest influence that Phillip had on you in that season that you spent, especially being that it was so early in your career?
Number one definitely would have to be, like I said, just knowing the entire playbook. I guess, speaking now, I was a rookie, but just making sure that I knew everything that could possibly happen on a play. Like I said, we have two play called, but also, hey, if they give us this look, we may change the whole entire thing. So he was the one that really taught me how to focus in on every single play and the intricacies in every play. Not just learn the play, but say, hey, these are all the different checks that we could have within one play.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks, JT.
No, thank you, guys.
Focus was a little different than last offseason. Just get completely healthy, work on specific skills I need to improve, and then just being in better condition. So that's what I was doing.
You all had like a mini camp before training camp. Like, what do you think was the benefit of just going out to the West Coast and getting to working with the guys?
Oh yeah, no, definitely a good time to bond with the guys. Just see what your teammates are like more off the field than anything, and then get some work as well. So I think it was a great trip. We went golfing, went fishing. Pitt took us out on his boat, so it was a good time. It was, a lot of laughs. Great time.
What was your biggest takeaway from last season, and where do you think you can experience the most growth headed into this year?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was just staying healthy. The best ability is availability. So for me, it's just staying healthy this year, doing everything I can possible. But at the end of the day, everything's in God's hands. So health is up to Him. But I'm going to do my best to stay on the field and be healthy.
Josh, when you get to the end of the season and you're watching the playoffs on TV, you're just sick about that? Like, I don't know, how have you kind of internalized that being your situation the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Like, at the end of the season, you don't think about it, but then when you start watching those games, you be like, dang, I'm trying to be out there. Because it's a different level of, like, excitement, attention. It's just everything is heightened. So, yeah, I definitely want to go to the playoffs. It's not even a want this year, it's a need. So we feel the urgency, and we know it's on the table this year.
You've had those couple injuries in these first 2 years. How much of your game have we not seen yet because of those? I was feeling pretty good going into the season, and I hurt my ankle. So I feel like I wasn't like completely 100% the whole season. So I feel like I could have had a little more in the tank.
Yeah, this season you'll just have to see. I mean, I'm a little more experienced out there. I feel like I know a little more things, and they'll open up the playbook a little bit more for me this year. So we'll see what goes on.
Through the trip to California and working in OTAs or minicamp, what have you learned about Daniel Jones?
Daniel, he's a great player, excellent player. I mean, a lot of players that I know on the Giants were telling me that he was really good, and I've seen it myself. So I'm excited for him and Anthony to compete out here in camp, and may the best man win.
Is it a difficult balancing act trying to establish chemistry with two guys heading into a season here in training camp?
I mean, both the guys are really cool. A lot of chemistry comes from just being cool with the quarterback. So I feel like that's not a hard thing to do when you got two great guys with you. They're both really good players, and that's just what we have to do at this point. So it's not really a matter of is it hard. You just got to go out there and do it.
What does being cool entail? Are you just kind of hanging around with the guys? Like, all right, I hung out with you for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So when I'm open,
Yeah.
That's the thought behind it?
Hey, it's just like you build that off the field connection. They tend to look at you on the field more. So I mean, I've known AR for 3 years now. Me and him pretty cool, and then Daniel, I mean, he came in. We have a lot of mutual friends. So me and Daniel bonded well, and then he's bonded well with all the guys. So like I said, I'm excited to see them compete. I think they're both really good players, and then whoever has the best camp, they're gonna be out there.
What kind of growth have you seen? Just I guess this offseason you were out there with him from AD. Like obviously being a rookie, that offseason is so hectic.
Mm-hmm.
But now his first real offseason, what changes have you seen?
Nah, he's an excellent football player. AD's incredible. I think I got high expectations for him. I think he's really, really good. He had a really good spring. I'm excited to see what he does out here, but phenomenal player, all the potential in the world, and I mean, I'm just excited to see him do it out there.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So it's here. We're near the tail end of July. As we mentioned, training camp is about to get underway. The sun is beating down. The grass smells great. The lines are getting painted onto the field. No place you'd rather be during this time of year. Football is back here in Indianapolis, and what hopefully is, as we mentioned, a new narrative this time around.
No doubt about it. There was a little crisp in the air, just a little taste of what fall's going to be like for the Indianapolis Colts. Eli and I got you covered on air on WTHR Plus. A lot of questions. Hopefully we have answers throughout 2025 training camp here at Grand Park for the Colts. For now, though, for Eli Gate, I'm Dominic Miranda, 13 Sports.